Hi. Welcome everybody back to the Roulette Realtors. Myself, Clive, my partner in crime, Hector. Today, what are we discussing about, Hector?
Today, we are going to be talking about the crown jewel of the East. People have been hearing about this Admiral of Katong.
So is the east side the best side, right?
That's the question we are going to answer today.
Okay, well, cool. Let's get to the topic at hand, right? Okay, so let's launch the slide. So, Hector, you want to run through a bit of the disclaimer before we start the heated
Yeah,
discussion about the Katong area?
same thing. So just a bit of disclaimer before we start the episode. Please do not take anything that we say and constitute it as financial advice. Always do your due diligence when it comes to anything in regards to your property. Everything that we represent and express in every session is merely Clive and my own opinion. If you need someone to talk to, please seek your realtor of choice, or preferably come find any of us.
Yes, and we'll spin the wheel for you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool, right? This is the wheel. I think everybody should be quite familiar by now. The wheel will decide the prior profiles we'll talk about later. I'll make the wheel sound like this, and the wheel will stop. Okay, that's when it lands. Okay, the show hasn't started yet, right? We'll get the wheel spinning again later. Okay, so let's run through a bit of what this project actually is, right? From the image itself, right, you see 5 blocks of very nicely adorned buildings, right, by our dear developer Sim Lian, right? Location is Jalan Tembusu. As Hector mentioned, Crown Jewel of the East. Everybody wants to stay in Katong, right? Right. We'll talk more about the Katong look a few later, right? 846 units, right? That will give a lot of liquidity to the owners in this area. 1 to 5 bedrooms. Again, massive variety of choices. 6 blocks, right? Preview has started, right? At the time of recording. Booking coming up, right? On the 16th of November. We should release the video before that. Okay, the expected TOP Q2 2028. Right. Yeah, Hector, anything to mention? What strikes you in this in this photo?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about this. So when we look at the picture perspective, right, of how Emerald of Katong looks at, I think the developers, these are very official pictures provided by the developers. The developers probably have an idea about that sea view looking. So I
Hmm.
think if you look at the perspective right now, there's this sensing that the developer wants to bring forth the Katong lifestyle. They want to bring forth what buyers in this region typically look at. And that's potentially also a question of whether are there pocket sea views if someone wants to buy a unit at Emerald of Katong?
So that would be the question we'll be delving into as well. Is there a sea view, or even is there a fireworks view from the stadium? Right. So you
Mm,
get to see the fireworks every time there's a concert or every time there is National Day, right? Okay. Right. So are we ready, Hector?
let's do it, man.
Let's go. Wow. We've
Finally.
got the investor, right? All right. So, what? Let's start with the floor plans, right? What kind of is this the layout that the investor will be like falling in love with?
Okay, so let's put some definition into this, Clive. So when we talk about investors, right, typically I think we can agree that most people investing into a new launch are probably looking at the one bedder, maybe two bedders. I think we can reserve the three, four, five for family-sized units. People are looking more for own stay. So as an investor, when we look at the one bedder and two bedder, Clive, you know my reservations about the one bedder lah. I
Mm.
think the one bedder is a product that shouldn't be talked about too much in today's market. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult to exit from an investment standpoint. But let's really dive in down on the two-bed unit. So at the
I
show
just want to
unit,
come in on
yeah.
that point just for the viewers information, because there are some
Mm,
viewers who don't really understand why one bidders, right, are not really desirable in the market right now, right?
mm,
Maybe I start with one reason, which is the fact that, these days we're looking at work from home, right? People want to have another room, preferably a study, right? So in this development, actually, the developer, if I'm not wrong, they provide one plus study. Am I right, Hector?
yeah, that's correct. The
Yeah,
one
so
bedder
so at
is the
least
one plus
at
study.
least like the trend has shifted to be at least a one plus study, right? But preferably investors are looking at two-bed plus study because it allows a lot of exit opportunities. Because you could have young families, who would like another bedroom, then the study comes in handy. Or alternatively, right, there are people who can't afford like a 3-bedder, right? A 2+ study is also a good alternative, right?
Right.
Mm.
So let's dive in on the two-bed study show unit, right? 689 square feet. Do take note, for viewers, you're probably familiar that the neighboring project, the Musu Grand, is also a 99-year lease project with very sizable number of units. So this one over here at Emerald of Katong, right? 689. I do need to draw a bit of reference because this is a post-harmonization project, which basically means to the layman that the RC ledge or aircon ledge is not part of the floor plan calculation. So you're really looking at 689 square feet of usable and livable space within the unit. So when we compare that to other 99 who are pre-harmonized, what this means is that the developers are offering a much larger floor plate, which allows you to have more livable space, and it gives us a bit of a comparison as well. So in this two-bed plus study, everyone loves the dumbbell layout. It's very efficient. It's efficient because there is minimal wastage on your corridor space, right? Your foyer and corridor space. The two bedrooms on the dumbbell layout gives you that sense of privacy. There's a kitchen, right as you enter into the unit, which is very typical of the two beds within this quantum and in recent projects. Anything to add, Clive?
So I just want to add on to the part about the harmonization. So for viewers who are not too sure about the harmonization rules, right? So right now the harmonization rules doesn't allow the developer to price in the AC ledge. So you can see in the image is non-strata, right? So as Hector was mentioning about the harmonization rules, I made a quick calculation. So usually the AC ledge, right, as well as some of the other parts that might be covered pre-harmonization, like the curtain walls, is around 5% of the development unit size. So if we size up to pre-harmonization, which is the one that doesn't include harmonization, this unit will be at around a 710 square foot, unit, right? So I also want to add another point about the layout of this entire place. So Hector mentioned about the bedrooms, which are big, right? At 9 square meters and 11 square meters respectively. But I want to just look at the kitchen. Not everybody likes a unit that the door opens directly to a kitchen, right? For Hector, sometimes we have units where when the door opens, that's the kitchen, right? It could be because of feng shui reason or it could be because of preference reason. So I like the fact that the kitchen is nicely tucked in the corner, right? So then even when there's cooking, although there's induction cooker that is given to the buyers, so it's a very easy investable unit because I can see the tenants falling in love with this place.
Yeah, I do want to point out as well, if you look at the bottom right of this particular layout, something that's very interesting. I don't think I've seen this in a lot of projects. You'll notice that the fridge has a little enclosed space by
It's
itself.
a nicely tucked
Like
corner.
it's a nicely tucked corner. It doesn't eat into the kitchen. And I think this is something that I myself personally do appreciate as well. But it really the verdict really boils down to, if we look at the show unit, whether this poses an issue if um in future, if I buy into a two-bed plus study unit here at Admiral, right? Whether I want to change to a bigger fish, whether it poses an issue. I think the verdict is still out there. So again,
Mm.
we urge everyone to come and take a look
Mm.
and determine. So I suspect that this might be a very traditional two-door open. You might have difficulty buying a fridge with the doors opening on both sides, right?
Mm.
The lateral opening doors.
Mm.
So yeah, that's something we might want to take note on as well.
I also want to maybe spice things a little bit by referring to the perspectives, right? And sort of give our viewers a taste of which type of stack or uh which part of the project should they buy into, which blocks, are pretty much the ones with the investors. They also like their units to be facing the fireworks view or even the sea view, right?
Definitely
So
a
you think
selling
that's a
point.
good idea?
Yep.
Yeah, let's go and see, right? Okay, so good. So let me these are basically the perspectives we should get into, right? So this is the evening view that the developer is looking at, right? So let's look and see whether there's any investor units, right, that is facing the fireworks view, right? Okay, so we just look at this alone, right? From this map, right? Okay, so this side that is facing the we're looking at this side. There's which is the side that is facing Okay, this is the side that's facing Tembusu Grand, which is the side that would be facing the stadium, right? So
Mm.
for those who are
Yep.
thinking, of maybe entering into a two-bedder that can see fireworks, so we're looking at stack number 8 as well as stack number 22, preferably as high floor as possible because there might be Tembusu Grand that could block the view, right? Yeah, so
Mm.
for Hector, maybe the first two levels. Sorry, the highest two levels.
Yeah, the top two levels. I think from an investor standpoint, there's also a bit of emotional play as well. We have to factor that into the project. So I think from an investor's point of view, they definitely want capital appreciation. There's probably rental on the mind as well. And Clive, we've been talking about the unit layout, but
Hmm.
from an investment standpoint, how much is it? Is it worth potentially could we see returns on an investment on a two-bed plus study unit? Perhaps we can look
Hmm.
at the
Good,
pricing
good.
as well.
Sure. So that's actually another good question because like investors, aside from looking at the desirable aspects of the unit, right? They're also looking at whether the price is the right price to enter, right?
Mm,
So maybe we let the viewers see the entry price, right? The indicative price of the project. So for 2+ study, right, for a size that's 6, 7, 8 square foot, right?
The show
Starting
unit
for
six
so
eight
the
nine.
the the price is at 1.6x million. So just back to the show unit at 689, I guess the price would be right around 1.7, 1.8 million,
Mm,
right? Could I say that? So that will give us, if we compare in terms of square footage, I do a quick calculation. If I'm looking at a 1.7, 1.8, right? For 869, we're looking at a 2006 PSF, right?
mm,
That's probably on the higher range. But let's say I'm looking at a 1.75 on a 689, I'm looking at 2005, right? Let's give you a between 2005 to 2006 PSF post harmonization. And we compare it with Tembusu Grand, right? Which is shown here, right?
mm,
So Timbusu Grand, right, you can see as the numbers put up. Okay, because we want to compare something that is close. Timbusu Grand's two bedders are all sold out, right? Yeah, but Timbusu Grand, you can see that they were selling at around 2005 for the two bedders. 2005 XX.
mm.
So for Hector, 2005 XX, right? Right. Then recently there is a 1+ study unit that sold for 2006.
Yeah.
So that's when I would argue for Emerald of Katong. Because you're
Okay.
looking at a project that is around 2006 at the top end, 2006 XX, with the harmonization means they don't count in the aircon latch, versus 2006 with the aircon latch, right? Is it a no-brainer buy? Is it a screaming value buy, Hector?
I think it's definitely a very, very good buy. I think Emerald of Katong from a pricing perspective, right? Like you so rightly point out. Tembusu brand, these are actual transactions. We've got a very, very good example for comparison right now. Tembusu Grab, which is right next door, if your one plus study is going at about 2,600, right? The BSF definitely will get a little bit more palatable as we get to a bigger size units. So it's easy to understand that Tembusu Grand's 2 plus study is really going at about 2005 PSF. So Emerald of Katong, from a comparison standpoint, you get a bigger size, same layout, very much more efficient. And from a product perspective, if you are getting at 2005, even 2005X, right, PSF, for two-bed study, you are actually getting a very, very good deal. The market transactions have supported this price. It goes to show that people buying into a two-bed plus study in this location, same tenure for the project, is already transacting at 2005. Emerald of Katong, like you so rightly put it, is a no-brainer to enter into at this price. In
Mm,
fact, in fact, the calculation you have given is probably for a two-bed study unit because you wanted to see the fireworks, right? On
mm,
a very, very high floor. If you're getting somewhere in the mid-floor and below, right, you're potentially getting at 2004. So yes, Clive, it's a no-brainer in my
mm.
opinion at this particular price point.
My sentiments too, right? Then of course investors, right? They might also want to look at, a bit of the location attributes of the place, right? Because,
Hmm.
with investors, they want to look at ease of exit, right? Then, who number one, who can they sell to for 2+ study, and how good is the location that would bring potential buyers for them to exit, right? So probably like 2+ study, as I mentioned earlier, they could sell to people who are right sizing in the area. Because I can imagine a lot of people, maybe they're staying in big landed houses around the area, lots of them, right? So they might want to right size to a project with a lot of amenities and facilities, which we'll get into. The second is the walking distance to the MRT, right? So Hector, you are familiar with the place. It's a
Oh, yeah,
5 minute walk to the MRT, a fair gauge of the distance.
it's not just any MRT, it's the Thomson East Coast line. So what screams about this line is its access to downtown. So it really connects the northern part, which is the Thomson area, all the way down to Tanjong Katong East Coast area. It's a few stops down to your commercial nodes in the CBD. So yes, you talk about who can buy or who can exit into a two-bed study at Emerald of Katong. Yes, you have your right sizes, but I would argue actually your biggest group, right? From an investor standpoint, a lot of investors are buying these units to rent out. So there's going to be a substantial period of time where the unit is rented out while it's gaining appreciation across the years. So you want to have two factors when it comes to rental. A lot of your tenants are going to appreciate locations that give them connectivity to where they work. So I expect a lot of, your expatriates, your CBD goers, right? Your office workers who are around that area to want to rent an area which is less than 10 minutes commute by train to where they work. So from this particular locale, a 5 minutes walk to Tanjong Katong MRT, which is on the Thomson East Coast line, is going to be a very, very key attraction point. And I think this is what stands out in terms of Emerald of Katong as being one of the most anticipated projects. Because from an investment standpoint, you want your unit to always be rented out. You want your unit to gain appreciation in an area that is desirable to live in. So yes, you have your young families who can potentially buy into this project once it's up on the resale market, but also from a rental perspective, you're going to have a very large tenant pool who would appreciate living in the Peranakan culture, the rich history of that area with a lot of amenities and a 5 minutes walk away from a very good MRT line.
Great, great, great. So I think you sum it up the best, right? Which is investors prefer convenience, connectivity, and location, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's good for us to, check another profile, right? Of
Sure.
buyers in this area. Okay, can we spin the wheel, Hector?
Yeah, let's spin the wheel, man.
Trrrr. Oh, investor again, right? So
One more time.
let's go it one more time. Trrrr. Wow, 3 Gen family, right? It appears in every of our episodes so far, right? So viewers might be wondering, is it hack, right? But no, it's not, right? The only thing that's engineered is my voice. This is entirely, up to
Did
randomness,
we did
right?
we land on 3 Gen family for every episode?
I think we landed it on for Nava. Did we land on it for Chuan Park?
We did.
Yes. So it's
Ah,
3 Gen 3 times, right?
okay.
Okay. So I mean, let's get down to it, right? 3 Gen family, I'm looking at a 5 beta or even a 4 beta, right? So I just want to address the elephant in the room. EOK has a very, very compact 4+ study, right? That could really serve a 3 Gen family with a budget. This unit is starting from 2.7x million, right? It's a screaming buy. Let me show you, right? 2.7x million, right? So why I feel that this is good for 3 Gen families because of the dumbbell layout of the living area. So I can see bedroom 4 being like the granny's room, right? Right? And the main family can actually stay in the 3 bedrooms here. Not to mention there's a study, right? Right. So this is a good 3 Gen family layout. Hector, anything to add for this?
Yeah, I want to point out the bedrooms itself are very, very well designed, in my opinion. First of all, yes, you mentioned the layout, which serves as a privacy, right? Especially for the grandparents when we talk about 3 Gen family. But also something of note, the 4 bedrooms itself, right? You're looking at a very, very good size bedroom that fits king, queen, queen, queen. A lot of the projects for compact 4 bed or a more traditional 4 bed, you might see king, queen, queen, super single. So I want to point out that the developers have really put in thought into the layouts, and Emerald of Katong screams out well designed in terms of catering to the various crowds. Your 4 bed, 5 bedrooms, these are the your 4 beders and 5 beders are going to be the units that a three-gen family would definitely look at. And so the design, you can tell that it's been thought put into the utilization of the space. Your 4 bedrooms in that particular size encompasses your walk-in wardrobe for your master bedroom. You've got your 2 toilets out there with one WC. And of course, to me, this is something I know it's going to be a weird thing, but I really, really like projects where there is ventilation, right, in the
Mm.
bathrooms. So I think at this particular size, I think the 3 beds, for some of the stacks of the 3 beds, they also have that cross ventilation. And I think that's something that's a quality of life that's important to families.
Mm. I also want to touch on the 5 beta, right, which has a show unit at the show flat, right? This 5 beta personally wowed me, right? Not just only because of the size of the space, right, but because how efficient the layout is, right? As Hector rightfully mentioned, all the bedrooms are 9 square meters, right? So most of the new projects these days are lesser than 9 square meters, so definitely can fit in a queen size bed, right? Then of course this 5 beta, right, comes with a private lift, right? And it opens up, right, to uh a living area that spans 41 square meters, right? As well as a very generously sized kitchen and a yard, right? And a home shelter, right? So I can again see this perfect for a three-gen family, right?
No, but
Because
Clive, you have to
mm,
point out this particular 5 beta, right? I think really the key selling point is the living room. The
mm,
wide frontage horizontal style living room
landscape.
is something that is not common. It's really, really a very special thing. For those in the audience that have been to any show units or been in a place where the living room has that landscape orientation, it's a very spectacular, majestic place to call home, right? It's a good living area where you really have your conversations, your family time. And most projects these days don't quite have that in the living room, even at the bigger size units. So
Mm.
I do want to point out that for Emerald of Katong, this is definitely something that is deliberate. It's definitely catered to families who are intending to stay here for a substantial period of time. And I think it fits the three-gen profile very well.
Yes, yes, yes. So, I mean, with the private lift, right, you get the combination of privacy and also like for the three-gen family who might need to use the wheelchair, right? So this is good because this takes directly, right, to the main entrance of the place, right? I also want to highlight, right, the facilities, right, in the area that would sort of cater to the three-gen, right,
Mm.
because
Are
we are
you talking
looking at
about
an
the park?
area, right? Yeah, that fits, people from different generations, right? You
Mm.
can see I want to show everybody just the sense of the facilities. The developer has nicely, zoned the areas into the wellness zone. This is really uh for the elderly who might want to, have a nice, pool spa or water spa. The adventure zone for the kids, active zone for the adults, right? What is missing, Hector?
The price, Clive, I want to bring up some points that
Mm,
might be contentious. So we like the 5 beta, right? We like the 4 betas as well. There's one in particular that you are very fond of.
mm.
But if we just narrow down the 5 beta, how much is this 5 beta going to go for, Clive?
Right. So I want to show everybody the price, right? The elephant in the room, the price. The
That's always
5
a
beta is asking 3.5x for a 1475 unit house.
okay.
So
PSF perspective is probably about 2003, 2004.
let me just do a quick calculation because the developer is
Mm,
looking at 3.5x, right? Let's just do it conservatively at 3.6, right?
mm.
Divided by 1475. So we're looking at 2004 1475 for the low floors, right?
Okay,
So I
yeah.
believe for the Lux units that with the private lift, which is 1485,
Mm,
right? And the one, of course, 1561 is the highest floor with the airspace, right? So we might be looking at somewhere close to 2006, right, at the very top end,
mm.
right?
Okay,
Is
so
2006-ish PSF the right price?
this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable. I think 2006 is not a good price for the 5 beta. I think your 5 beta, if it's hovering around 2003 to 2004, it's a great price. I want to throw in a wrench into the conversation as well.
Mm,
I know we are coming up on time.
mm,
A lot of the customers that I serve in this area, they like freehold, right? I want to stress that
mm,
Emerald of Katong is a 99 leasehold project. Right across the road, you have your Amber Park, you have your Diesta, and these are all very sizable freehold projects. My question is, if someone has an alternative, if you're just looking from a quantum perspective, right? $3.6 million. If they can get around 1,000 close to almost similar square footage at a freehold level for a four-bedroom, do you think that presents an argument for going for a four-bedder at those freehold projects versus a five-bedder 99 years at Emerald?
That's a very good question. I mean, it's a loaded question also. I want to address it on two fronts. The first front, right, is let's address the freehold argument, right? So I do agree with you, like for the buyers in Katong whom I've served also, they have this penchant for freehold properties. I think that penchant for freehold sort of originated from the fact that they might have come from landed houses in the area, which is predominantly freehold, right? So they kind of want to make sure that even if they stay in a house, right, they want it to be a legacy for their kids, right? Or the legacy for the next generation, right?
Mhm.
Then, of course, at the 3.5, 3.6 million quantum, are we looking at a place around the area for a resale that could give you a higher size, yet at a lower price? Yes, for sure, right? But we must understand that, we are also looking at a new build project, right? With a lot of amenities and facilities, and not to mention there's a nearby park in the
Mm,
area. I want to show everybody the perspective of the park, right? So in a way, buyers are not, shouldn't be too fixated, in terms of uh the tenure. It's in my opinion, even at 2526, it's still a rightly priced uh rightly priced. This is the park, right? So this is still a rightly priced project, right, for the three gen family, right?
mm,
So my thinking is that if you compare, a freehold project nearby, which is Continuum, right? The five bidders are hitting $5 million, right? Pardon the pun, right?
mm,
So 3.5x, 3.6x, even under 4 million. This is something where buyers can enter at a $1 million lesser price, right? And yet enjoy a wide suite of amenities and capital appreciation potential.
I think that's a good perspective. Again, we're not stressing that, or I'm not stressing that the resale freehold projects, makeup projects nearby, make more sense than a five bedder at Emerald Katong. I think both are very, very different products, right? We definitely want to look at something that fits your needs, and I think Emerald Katong hits the ball out of the park, right? For a lot of the factors, facilities, size, layout, tenure. But I also want to bear in mind that there are a lot of buyers out there that feel a five bedder at $3.5 million can still potentially be very, very expensive. So I do definitely want to bring up alternatives as well. Clive, I'm not too sure whether we emphasize enough on that four bedder. I know there's one that you're particularly
Mm,
fond of. The four
yeah.
bedder, I think you definitely want to bring that on screen for three gen family. The particular four bedder that, in your opinion, is the ultra value buy
Yeah,
that
it's the ultra
almost
value
acts
buy.
like a
This
five
is a
bedder.
no-brainer ultra value buy. I must emphasize and reiterate that again.
Okay, so four bedder, elephant in the room, right? Four bedder, five bedder. The key difference is the missing of one bedroom. Why do you think this particular layout can potentially act as a budget play for a five bedder?
Right. So as I mentioned, the Jack and Jill layout for the bedroom four, right? I don't see any extra weighted space, right, in this area. And one thing that I forgot to mention just now is that this wall can actually be hacked away. So just in case, there's no helper or there's no need for the store since the space is so big, you can build inbuilt cabinetry, right? You can actually lengthen this part of the dining. So you can push the dining to this side. So it becomes also very sizable living area, right?
Mhm.
So
Do you
so
think
yeah.
do you think there's a possibility that the study gets converted? I'm not too sure whether there's an aircon unit there. I
There's
think
an
there
aircon
is.
unit. There's an aircon unit in the study.
So could that potentially be a small enclosable bedroom?
Yes. So this could kind of like be a five bidder in disguise at a price of 2.7x. So that's why I'm saying this is This is not just a screaming value buy, right? This is a howling value buy. This is a, this is a roaring value buy, right? I can't emphasize this enough.
Okay, so last perspective or last question from me.
Mm,
We think about a three-gen family, your akong ama, your
mm.
parents, and then maybe in today's context, one child at the moment, one helper, six people. Do you think that they can, do you think that they can fit nicely into this four-bedder?
Yes, why not? Because the bedrooms are 9 square meters, right? So look at the 3 gen. How it works is that the parents stay in the master room, right? We're looking at two kids, the normal type of Singaporean family, and the
Mm-hmm.
grandparents stay here. This could double up as if, let's say, they could have a younger kid next time they want to split the rooms. This can be that room also, right?
Mm.
So this could be the helper's room if they have the helper, right? If not, convert this to a space that pushes a dining to and lengthen the living area, right? So
And again, from an indicative price, this is anywhere from 500,000 to $800,000 difference, right?
yes,
Five
yes.
bidder.
Yeah, so as Hector rightfully mentioned, you know, it's a no-brainer, get it in a heartbeat type of buy, right? So I don't know whether the viewers would agree. You can comment it below, right? So if you want to let us show you the place, right? We are very happy to show you the place, right? So before I end up for today, right? Any speculation on how many percent that this will be sold on launch day?
Uh, why don't you go first?
I will go for the 4-bed plus study selling 100% this layout.
100%.
100% for this layout, 4-bedder plus study.
That's not fair, lah, bro. I mean, there's only 19 units, for this
To be
particular
precise, there's two
model.
stacks, so we're looking at 19 times 2, if I'm not wrong. 38
Yes.
units.
Yeah, that's not a lot, There are 846 units. You're telling me
Yeah.
38 of them will get sold out. I mean, I'm inclined to agree it's 100% for this, but
Hmm.
um,
Let's
as
just
a
talk about the whole development, right? Let's
right,
get to the topic,
as
right,
a
before I end
whole,
up for
I
today.
think I think on launch day, Emerald of Katong is going to sell 75%
Yeah,
easily.
my number is also close to it. Just to stick with the one that I believe more, I think is 80%. Anywhere between 80%, 75 to 80%, right? So I'm just topping you up a bit with 5%. I think we are on the same plane. Yeah. So those smaller units will definitely get sold out, right? So those might be left standing, might be the ones that you can see, like the one on the 5-bed Lux, or even the 5-bed without the private lift. Yeah.
Hmm. That's a
Hmm.
fair evaluation. Yep.
Good. Right. So make Katong the best site, right? So, hook us up, meet us up, right? If you want to let us show you the place.
Yeah, I think I just want to re-emphasize on that point as well. So if there's anyone who's watching this video and interested in viewing the show flat, please give Clive or myself a call. We're more than happy to bring it out to a show flat, take a look. Seeing is believing, right? So we ourselves were quite blown away when we saw the show flat. It's really quite impressive from a layout standpoint. So I hope you get in touch soon, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Sure, right? So, yes, see everybody soon, right? Bye bye.
Bye.